pushing you around to hell in a handbasket.
You're spewing your nonsense here yet again.
Nonsense?
The air in L.A. is twice as clean as it was in 1970. Why? Because of good technology.
That's got nothing to do with global warming.
It has everything to do with good science.
Nothing to do with global warming.
It has everything to do with finance and cleaning up the air. You people said it wouldn't work. We have cleaner air in L.A. because of the catalytic converter.
Nothing to do with global warming.
I know it doesn't, but...
Who says it's the season to be jolly? Actor and environmentalist Ed Begley Jr. and our own Stuart Varney getting a little hot and heavy over global warming. The Hollywood activist also arguing those Climategate emails don't prove global warming is a hoax. Our next guest could not disagree more. His name is Philip McAleer. He's a filmmaker. You might remember he's the guy who inconveniently questioned Al Gore at a recent climate change conference. Philip, welcome to your world.
Thank you.
These emails, if you read through them, they're pretty damaging. And I'm being gentle.
They're truly damaging. It's hard to say how damaging they are. I mean, you've got people saying we need to use that trick to hide the decline.
Yeah, what they call Mike's trick. I'm going to add certain temperatures onto other temperatures, and by the way, selectively delete emails which may disprove some of the data.
Oh, well, that's the worst thing they've done, is delete emails and delete scientific data. They've ruined the chances of future generations to use that data for future research and future progress. Phil Jones, I think, will have to resign, the head of the CRU in the UK. I mean, he's a British scientist. I grew up with British scientists. They're supposed to be in white coats and have bad style and funny glasses and not care about anything else except the science. But Phil Jones is shown to be politically partisan, has an ideology, and he's devoted to science to try and make it fit the ideology.
But people who are discounting the relevance of these emails will say, hey, it was one group of scientists at one university in the UK, and it doesn't disprove anything other than these scientists may have been a little bit off.
CRU is like NASA. It's the UK's NASA. It's the centre of excellence. Those people who say they don't matter, they're like those little hamsters that children are buying now at Christmas. You know, they go into a wall, there's a barrier, and they wander around in circles to find a new piece of scientific evidence that might match their ideology. They're the true deniers, the people who say there's nothing wrong.
Scientists generally will find data, research data, and then come to a conclusion on that data. Do you believe we have reversed that? Do you believe there was a goal in mind and they are trying to find the data to prove what they already believe rather than the scientific method?
Sadly, that is what happened. Sadly, science somehow became corrupted. Sadly, political science... Why? Well, Phil Jones, who's the head of the CRU, got over £13 million in research. That's over 20 million of your Yankee dollars. It's a lot of money. Also, people are ideological. People have an ideological... There are political scientists out there. James Hansen is now running around. He's from NASA. He's running around blocking coal plants. He's running around calling for war crimes tribunals. These are political people who have unfortunately...
Because it's profitable. Because it's money. And they come back and say, guess what? We couldn't find anything to support the globe. They're done. They're cut off. So they have to keep pushing the idea to keep the money rolling in.
Well, as Dennis Miller said about Al Gore, beware of profits making profits, you know. And these scientists, yeah, there's a lot of money in it, but I think it's a lot of it's political ideology. We always knew, my film, Not Evil, Just Wrong, says this is junk science, but it's also junk politics as well. Regardless of the science, we're talking about a massive tax on jobs all over the developed world, particularly America. It's a massive way of destroying jobs in America and promoting employment in places like China and India, where they don't care about global warming or they don't care about regulations. So unfortunately, it was scientists who were anti-American, anti-business, anti-capitalist.
Well, can you imagine the furor if these emails were emails that were opposing scientists who firmly proved global warming? The attention they would be getting. Now people are trying to shove them in the corner like, they don't really matter.
Yeah, well, Andrew Revkin of the New York Times was one of the people who cut off my mic when I asked Al Gore an inconvenient question. And now he's doing the same in the New York Times with these emails. He's cutting off the communications. He's not publishing any of the emails. This is because they were private, and it's totally disingenuous. Journalism is about publishing private things that people don't want published. That's the great thing about journalism. For Andrew Revkin, for the New York Times, the mainstream media to say that these should be kept secret because they're private. Sorry, they were paid for with public money, and a lot of public money. Yep. And I think we need to take the money out of science.
Philip McAleer, filmmaker of Not Evil, Just Wrong. Philip, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Happy holidays. The White House party